talk about CrossFit. Where did you start with CrossFit? Where did it take you?
2012 is, we were talking about it a little bit ago, but 2012, my buddy told me about it. He was from California, moved to Florida, and he was like, he's 10 years older than me, and he was like the top trainer in the company and whatnot. So I was always learning from him and all that stuff. He was like, you know, you're super athletic, strong, like you should try CrossFit. So YouTube, back then you had to YouTube everything because it really wasn't like it is now where you can, you know, you see it on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. There's, you know, way before all that stuff was blown up. Found an event over in Miami, Pantheon Games, and that was November 2012. 2 months before that, I started training and ended up getting third place and won like $500, and I was hooked after that.
And you were only there, you only tried CrossFit for 2 months before?
Yeah, trained 2 months.
And that's a big competition.
Yeah, back then that was huge. So you had like I mentioned, Noah Olson, Julian Cerna. That's when he was like the dark horse every year. He was competing because he was just like so good at everything, but it'd always be something that he was just missing that year on the workout and whatnot. He was always a great guy. Like I still talk to him now. But yeah, it was those types of athletes over in Miami blowing it up, and Noah actually missed he scratched on 2 long jumps that ended up putting me in third place. So I tell people all the time that's my claim to fame on beating him.
That's awesome.
And I got another claim to fame for the games, but yeah, so basically I was hooked, won $500, and from that point it was like just nonstop training. I was training anywhere from 4 to 6 hours for the most part, all the recovery stuff and all that, just trying to absorb it. I worked with CJ at Invictus for 2.5 years. I actually was on his staff, traveling staff for the events and stuff, like the seminars. Mm-hmm. So I was able to go to Brazil 3 or 4 times, and we went out to Asia Bartel. You remember him?
Yep.
Yeah, we went to his gym I think once or twice and did seminars over there. So I was able to travel a lot. 2013 made regionals, and then 2014 is when I made the games. So it was basically like a year and 7 months of like hardcore training and ended up making it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like for me that was like holy you know, like it was like surreal. So I was sitting in the back before we were going up, and I remember on one knee just, you know, saying a prayer, and like tears just started coming down because I thought about when I was 13, like I wouldn't be here if I went through with that. It's like that experience like felt so good because all the hard work I put in, like I was finally good at something. Because I had a sour taste from college football because I stayed injured, and the games that I like was on, like I was killing it. But I never had it where I was 100%, and then just like, you know, dealing with the whole environment and stuff like that. So it was like now I can control myself and my training and all, and it ended up paying off. So I ended up going to the games.
I have to connect something to that because that's 2014.
Yeah.
So I started CrossFit in 2012, mm-hmm. and I was living in New York, hated my life, working 70 hours a week, but I was in a bad relationship and I just didn't like anything that was going on. So I stumbled into Reebok Fifth Ave over in New York, and so later on Annie coached there. Like This was the spot in New York. And
yeah, I remember everybody was trying to get in there.
Man, the energy and the chemistry and everything there. First day I walked in, I was so bad at it, but I was just hooked.
No.
I spent 4 hours a day. It became my haven. It became the only thing that I enjoyed, you know. But going back to that, it was a YouTube video of you cleaning 405 pounds and Dave Castro commenting on that, saying that he knew that eventually the sport would get to these numbers, but didn't think it would happen so fast. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want to be strong like that guy. I didn't know you at all. We met years later down the line, but that impression of just this person that kind of looks like me, just way bigger, you know, being able to lift this massive amount of weight and just being so cool, I was like, man, I want to be like that. So if you did go through with that at 13, that wouldn't have happened to me.
Yep.
So look at the ripple effect.
Right, exactly. It's nuts to think about that type of stuff. We wouldn't be here right now
I wouldn't even
doing
be
this to talk about that
yeah.
memory.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like it's wild to see that type of stuff.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so 2014 made the games. 2015 I missed it. The CrossFit Open was always my weakness. I would have one workout with bar muscle ups that would kill me. And 2 years in a row, 15 and 16, I missed 15, almost missed 16. Ended up making that how they did the like
16 you got robbed?
Yeah, so
Was it 16?
I mean, I accept it because it's the rules and the judge made the call, but at the same time, like when you go up legless, you touch it, you come down however you need to. The year 2017, they changed it because of what happened to me.
Yeah.
So like me missing out on the games, I'm glad it happened because it showed everybody, like, don't cry about it. You know, everybody saw, like, they cheered for me and they booed.
I cried about it, though.
I was
like, you got robbed.
Yeah, I was frustrated. And that just put me in the mode, like, I got to train even harder because I don't need to be in the situation. Like, I need top 3 and it's clear cut. Like, I'm going. But yeah, it was good to see, like, everybody cheering me on when they called my name and the guy that ended up making the spot. Because I was going to finish 3rd with a first in event. And I got bumped to 6th, and I missed it by a few points. But you know, when the other guy that ended up making it, they were booing him. Like it just showed me how much they wanted me to go. Like that was cool to see.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I came back 2017. That's when I had my pec strain. That was the year of everybody just getting all jacked up on that ring dips, which I thought it was not gonna happen because I've done it twice before, broke the record both times and was doing the ring dips unbroken, but it was on short straps. Not a lot of tension on that compared to the ones that are like 12 feet or whatever. So yeah, that was the beginning of my spiral downhill because I just lost it. Like I had a bunch of people up there. I showed up to the dinner late and just disappointed them, like didn't want to talk to anybody and just because that's how I was paying my bills. And I knew, you know, I had started a gym in 2016. Started a gym, so I was doing that. My partner was basically running all the back end and I was coaching and stuff. But missing 2017, it was like, all right, I gotta focus on business. Because I've always wanted to focus on business more than that sport part. But I had to do the sport part to build the brand and all that stuff. So I was always being pulled back and forth. And I've started and stopped a lot of things, and even till today, like I still that habit will still come back. I'll get excited about something, try it out, and then I'll stop it because it's just like something in me just like, all right, that's not gonna work after a few times. So being consistent on it, I tried to focus on that and just slowly start seeing like sponsor money went away. Gym didn't have money to pay me. So I ended up having to move on my birthday weekend in 2017. So I only owned the gym for a few months, like actually worked in the gym. Maybe it was like a year. And moved to Melbourne, Florida. And that's where me and you end up connecting through the meal company I worked for and all that. But I get hurt. I remember driving on the way there, just feeling like the biggest disappointment. And I remember crying for like an hour straight, just like I lost everything. I had a $50,000 loan, which I ended up paying back at the beginning of this year in full after taking 7 years to pay it off because everything I went through. And this guy, he was, you know, one of the people I look up to. He actually passed away a few months ago from COVID, and it hit me hard. Like it was nuts because the day before I went back home for training for my new job, I texted him, hey, let me know if you and Denise want to go out to dinner because I haven't talked to him about a month. 2 days later, while I'm at home going through my training, I was going out to dinner, scrolling through, and I see his daughter post that he passed away.
That's sad, man.
Like that hit my soul like
this
so
was a
hard.
mentor.
Yeah, he was like the uncle I never had. Like that hurt so bad. But having a few of those people, you know, throughout this whole process to get me here was like it was key. So like being successful, like that's another reason like I need to make sure I win because somebody like him who put money and time and invested in me, like I need to make sure I show up for him. But yeah, driving on the way there, I remember watching Lisa Nichols. She's like a motivational speaker, and she had a similar story when she had a kid on the way and no money in the bank and had to wrap her son in little towels because she didn't have money for diapers. like listening to her story, like I just remember crying like crazy. Just like I screwed up. Like it was just all downhill from 2017 regionals. Just it's like
I want to touch on that a
yeah,
little bit.
it's I still remember it. Like it just like that feeling of just being empty and just like all the work I put in is for nothing.
And that's a tough part, especially your identity was wrapped up in being an athlete.
Yep.
And I remember I was watching, so I was rooting you on. I know a lot of people were rooting you on.
No.
So that was a lot of pressure and that's a lot of weight on your shoulders. So something like an injury, like tearing your pec, and something that's very difficult to recover from. And in a sport that people are putting in 6 to 8 hours a day at that point, it's a tough place mentally to be in.
Because whether it's an injury or no rep, like it can be all taken away that fast.
Yep.
So like executing.
So that's the tough part. Because at that point you were probably like, if I'm not this CrossFit Games athlete, who am I?
Yep.
Which is very difficult to wrap your head around, or anybody to know. I remember I got injured last year. My hip was hurt. I work out a lot, but it's for my mental health. It's not physically. I'll be fine if I don't work out as much. It's for my mental health. So I understand that. I do want to go back to gym life, just because I used to own a gym. And things didn't work out. Things went south. Parted ways with the gym, and you said you parted ways with the gym as well. So I wanted to know, how did that affect you? Did you think that was going to be it? You're going to be this gym owner? Tell me a little bit about
so being that I made the games, like in the area I lived in, like I was the first guy to go to the games, Telena Fortunato, and I'm blanking on her name. Lauren Brooks.
Yep.
So they were the females in the area. I was the first guy to go, and now like I'm, the man in the area. So like anything CrossFit, like I was kind of trying to build up. So I ended up partnering with my boy. They got me into CrossFit. He was with some investors and stuff, and something felt weird. So I signed a deal without really understanding anything about business. Turns out the deal wasn't what I thought it was. I ended up leaving. And I owned the affiliate. It was in my name, so I had to pull that because of legal issues and stuff. And end up leaving, doing personal training for a little bit. Then I opened Height with my business partner, who was a CPA. And I thought it was going to be great because we had her on the financial end. I was the one doing all the training, programming. And then we had 2 other partners that brought in some equipment. And they were going to help with marketing and stuff. A few months into it, the couple, they end up leaving. My partner ended up buying them out because they didn't work out. And then I thought my other partner that was still there was going to pick up some of the stuff, and me still trying to compete and running the gym as far as like managing the schedules and stuff like that, and employees. There was no clear cut like expectations once the other 2 left. So like now that I have a business with 2 partners, my supplement business, like I understand we got clear cut roles and we just knock out our stuff and there's no miscommunications, everything's transparent. Like that taught me big time on like understand who you're working with, because it just fell apart at that point, because I couldn't, looking back, I probably could have done more, like working a job outside of the gym. But at the time when you're in it, like you really aren't aware, of what's going on. So I would say it's both of our faults that it didn't end up working out. But, I did think in the beginning that, I opened a gym, all the CrossFit people were gonna flock to us because I was the one basically making the games and regionals every year. Like all these people wanted to compete. Like I thought it'd just load up, which, I had about 40, 45 people move right over from the last gym. And we grew it to a certain point, but it just always felt like it was capped out, whether it was space or whatever. But
I also think that was a very difficult time in CrossFit where those boxes springing up everywhere.
Oh yeah, everybody was open. we like when we opened ours, we were right down the road from the gym that I came from. Right next to them was the first CrossFit gym in Fort Myers, and then we were right down from a big global gym, or two of them. So it was a bunch of gym locations open. So we were trying to pull from all that, and even looking at that, like me opening that gym, like if I would have looking back now, I would have got a little warehouse space, because I had, you know, like $6-7 grand personal training coming in. I could have opened something small, got the money from my guy, decked it out nice, you know, AC and all this stuff, doing it that way by myself, and then slowly building it. But being young, being an athlete, like ego, like you think you can take on the whole world. So,
but that's fail forward. You know,
Yeah.
you learned a lot from that
Yep.
lesson that you can apply to your current business and to your life today. The same thing, man. I was working inside my business instead of working for my business, and you know, I was bartending on the weekends just to make ends meet. Didn't collect a dollar, so but I would leave Thursday. I would coach Thursday morning, Thursday night, bartend Thursday night, coach Friday morning, no sleep yet.
yeah.
Coach all day, bartend Friday night, coach Saturday morning, and then finally sleep.
Yeah.
I remember there was points where I would be driving and several minutes would go by and I won't remember what was happening, because I was just so sleep deprived for a while. I slept on a futon in the gym for I think it was like 4 or 5 months.
No.
You gotta do what
Just
you gotta do.
Yeah,
And
going through that grind.
during the time, that was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. Once we, you know, parted ways with the gym, lost my identity completely. I was Adam, the gym owner.
Yeah.
You know, so who am I now if I'm not Adam, the gym owner?
Yep.
But looking back, some of the greatest times ever. You know, that struggle, the amount of growth that came out of that struggle, like I didn't even know I could work that hard until I had to work that hard.
Yeah, you got people nowadays don't understand what it really takes to own and run a business and grow it. Like, it's a whole different beast on the amount of work and focus you have to put in. And I feel like it's good to like how we did it, but at the same time, like if I can teach somebody else, like start from scratch, like how you're doing it now, like you're in somebody else's location and learn the business from every angle, and then opening new locations, like you're learning the foundation. Like I had a hoodie made, I think it was last year maybe, or earlier this year, but on the back it says rock bottom is where the foundation is built.
Absolutely.
So me driving all the way to from Fort Myers to Melbourne, moving, that was my rock bottom. But then when the company went under, the mill company, after all that, I thought I was at my low driving there. I hit a whole new low, and I was just getting things going, like finally paying, you know, my debt off, and things are getting a little better.
We're gonna
But
talk about
yeah. So like just understanding how to do things the right way. Like, don't be afraid to work for somebody and learn the structure. Like people want to just go and be entrepreneurs. Like you can't. It's so hard to do that. You know, I wouldn't change it, but now I can, like I said, educate other people.
You're absolutely right. Like now that, you know, I work for a decent sized franchise company, the structure that they laid out, I'm like, that's how you do it.
It makes
like,
sense.
yeah,
It
like,
makes sense.
That's why you do it that way. Or that, you know, structure is so important, and you can read all the books in the world, man, but until you actually are out there and practice and applying, like you're not going to know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And when there's money on the line, you better know these things. So,
yeah, definitely.
So I completely agree. You know, find someone who's really smart that you admire and work for them for a little bit. Humble yourself to work for them a little bit. I don't care if you've been doing this for 10 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter. There's someone out there that you can learn from.
Yeah.